welcome to the final episode of Through the Breach, Avalon Society, London Falls. Joining me today, of course, is my wonderful cast of amazing characters as we play through the final episode of this adventure. Now, will they survive? Won't they? Well, I guess only time will tell. But of course, to tell us a little bit about them and the characters that they are going to be playing, I'm going to throw the ball across to none other than our lawyer himself, who seems to be preparing his notes and salvations for today's session. Edward, being played by Guy. G'day, Guy.
Hello, Michael.
How are we doing today?
I'm absolutely sad that it's the last show, but I'm so happy that I won't ever have to wear this wig ever again.
Well, of course, then, for the last time, Sir Edward, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I think pretty much the hair sums up what Edward is currently going through. It's an absolute catastrophe. He would love to be in charge. He'd love to be in a courtroom where he can use all of his rules and his laws and things to hide behind. But unfortunately, he finds himself disheveled and surrounded by friends and allies and about to die. So he's quite happy, actually. A lot of good things have happened in the last sort of 48 hours of his life, I think. And so he's ready. He's really ready to take on London, as it were.
That's very exciting to hear. And of course, taking on London alongside you is your amazing group of friends, including, of course, your client, who is for better or worse managed to stay with you, or you with her, since the onset of this terrible catastrophe. Hortensia Fiddlewick, played by the ever lovely Janet. Hello, Janet.
Darling, how are you?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Tell us what's going through the mind of Lady Hortensia.
The prima donna is realizing that although this is a terrible situation, this is going to provide wonderful performance fodder for later. She's already thinking about, how she's going to work this into a brand new opera about the plucky young soprano, I'll have you know, who saved London with the help of her dashing lawyer, that's the tenor, yes. The brave John Scarpati, that's the baritone, of course, yes, indeed. And the beautiful, words,
Billum.
face, Ludovica. I completely lost plot there. The beautiful alto Ludovica, and then of course the castrato Billum. Yeah, she's already written this opera in her head. Billum's going to be shooting out of stuff left, right, and center. We're going to have some sort of green cloth for the souls, I think. Yes. So she's already in the future, in a place where she has won and created this stunning opera. And of course, she is the star. There's just a pesky point that she's about to die. But apart from that, it's all going to be wonderful. Yes, jolly good. Yes, fabulous. Yes, encore.
Minor
I should also point out, as her lawyer, that I do actually have a contract here which says that she is, in actual fact, 30 years younger than her birth certificate might rather inaccurately portray.
Yes, that's perfidy. That's nonsense. I am, in fact, a stunning ingenue of just 18.
Anyone buying that? Yeah. Okay. Very well. And of course, is of course the long-term companion and of course Madam Keeper of the mortuaries of the University of Transmortis, none other than the loquacious Ludovica, played by Mhaire. Hello, Mhaire.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. If I'm even more pale than usual, that's because I'm sitting in a hotel room right now for the last one, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to drop out early. So if something happens to Ludovica at roughly 1:45, don't be bothered. That was planned, probably. Ludovica is already dead, so she's not afraid of dying, but she would like to get out of this without being dismembered.
Of course. And a very special thank you for joining us from a hotel room. Very much appreciated as well. All right, and of course, next up is the first part of the dynamic duo. I feel as though Professor Scarpati, before I get into the adjectives of your description, I feel as though the growth behind the man known as Scarpati has taken him from being this miserable old miser to this rather doting, fatherly kind of figure, and now we're at this point where where this individual has no longer placed himself in a position of care, but instead has placed all of his faith and hope into a life buoy that he calls Billum. Professor Scarpati, no description beyond this necessary, played by the ever wonderful Till. G'day, Till.
Hi everyone. Hi. Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the character progression of Scarpati because I feel like he's a great reminder to myself to sometimes get out of your chair and get outside because things are happening outside, not at your desk. So he has been an adventurer when he was younger, and then he started to just like grab all the stuff, hoard everything, becoming more this miserable old fart who's sitting behind the desk and is just amassing his riches. And now that the situation forced him to get outside and interact with people, he kind of probably came back to, brought back a little life into his body, which he is now really trying to preserve, because it would be a shame if you would just find a reason to live and then just be eaten by something terrible.
Absolutely. And of course, last but absolutely not least, someone who has gone from being the butt of everyone's jokes to being the butt of everyone's jokes that, you want to live. Playing the role of the gremlin Billum is none other than the gremlin Anthony.
Greetings. Thank you, Michael. Yes, it has been some format of a weird game to where I have gone from getting inside of things to getting inside of people's hearts, which in turns opens up my art as I grab a hold of the cojones of the life. There is many things I could say here, but it's mostly getting inside of things.
Yes.
That is what Billum does. But he is definitely, how can I put this, at a point now where he values these people's lives full stop, where he didn't before.
All right. So without any further ado, for the final time, allow me to recap this story. But we're going to be doing a recap all the way from the beginning. If I do misspeak some minor details, then please bear with me. But if I may. Earlier today, we found that the group of adventurers who had found themselves lost within London suddenly colluded with the Avalon Society in order to try and find one Spring-Heeled Jack, a person they believe responsible in some part for the portals that seem to be appearing over London. This, of course, due to the Burning Man and the connections to the magical entities, had lured our group to Big Ben, where they found the infamous Nephilim hiding out and trying to return to Malifaux. This, of course, was a prelude to the catastrophes that unfolded beyond that, as, of course, Spring-Heeled Jack, once defeated, was simply the tolling of the bell, the start of the Burning Man's rise in power, as portals began to open and flood London, slaying thousands upon thousands of people in the streets, washing away buildings and destroying streets, causing the Thames to overflow with chaos and debris. Our heroes, working together, managed to find safety and security in Westminster Abbey, where, through the assistance of Professor Scarpati, they have managed to keep a small collection of survivors safely on the rooftops. Working together, along with Ludovica's magical charms over the undead, they managed to put to rest an evil priest who had fallen to a necromantic influence within the walls of this sacred place. Without too much delay, they decided at this point that they needed to find some means, some purpose, some way to leave the city proper. For that, they headed to Primrose Hill, where Professor Scarpati had a small mounted dirigible prototype ready to fly at a moment's notice. Our heroes managed to work together and seize this dirigible, but not without some influence and some, I suppose, without some interference by a creature known as Delirium, a person with a bone to pick from the infamous Scarpati. He possessed Billum and caused a number of incidences, including, of course, the resurrection and awakening of a Malosaurus Rex beseeched upon the party, and rising tide waters destroying the collection that Professor Scarpati had spent most of his life building up. But this was not the end. The dirigible tried to take air, but the Malosaurus clamped down hard upon the bow of this incredible construction and dragged it into the buildings below. As the dirigible crashed into the side of the University of London, Ludovica guided her compatriots through its dilapidated and constricted corridors in order to try and find security in the form of a small ship that had been marooned, seized, stopped, halted in some way, wedged from several telegraph lines that had collapsed onto its bow. With their aid, they managed to free the sailors from certain doom and managed to slay the Piscine-like monsters that had begun to attack them from within the depths of the briny blue waters roiling around the streets. It is here we pick up our adventure. Not at the last episode, but for those of you that would recall the very first episode. Those of you who wish to may go back and watch that first episode, as its introduction is, of course, where we pick up as the group fervently manages to fight alongside the sailors, slaying a number of these fish-like monstrosities crawling upon deck. We watch as Professor Scarpati nearly flings clean off the deck, but is saved by the efforts of Billum and the rest. You can see a large, gorgeous illusion of the prima donna made of tiny cakes, singing a song of sirens to these creatures as these ensanguinated beasts try to resist the influence of her magics. Up ahead, streaming towards the ship, at least the ship streaming towards it, is a large barricade built by the guild, formed and created from various constructs to try and stem the waters. But it would obviously mean that if the ship were to collide with this great structure, it would be torn asunder. Working together hard, everyone managed to pull together, dislodging the starboard anchor, and lodging it into the side of the building, causing the ship to list hard to one side as the rain pelts down from above, from the waters that seem to continue to fall. The ship and everyone turned a hard 90 degrees around the corner, only to find themselves heading straight towards an incredible monstrosity. A large beast that rises out of the surf, its immense head pointed up towards the burning man, with an orange cascade of the rays of fire raining down on its features.
Muted. Muted. Muted.
Michael, you're muted.
Muted. Michael.
You're muted. Michael, you're muted.
Thank you. I turned off my microphone instead of my voice changer.
I think it was more descriptive with you doing.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It was very fish-like.
With
I
my
thought you were playing
interpretive
the fish.
dance of what was occurring. You find yourself careening towards this incredible creature. Eddie, could we have the devouring eel on screen, please? As you head towards this large serpentine form, you watch as a seam appears down its central haft. Your ship is kind of about maybe a half the size of this creature as you watch the seam open, revealing this gaping maw, this rib cage of teeth-like appendages, and this caustic stomach. Water flows in. Even a few of these smaller creatures, these monsters, kind of fall in as well, trying to swim against the current, but are quickly swallowed up. No sooner than do they make contact with the interior than their bodies begin to melt and dissolve. As the ship pushes forward, Ludovica and Billum, you, along with Scarpati, are on the starboard side, having just pulled Scarpati to safety. Edward, you are on the port side and trying to obviously hang on to one of the railings with both arms, clinging to the metal as best you can. Some of the sailors nearby are kind of doing the exact same thing, as when the ship turned, it obviously listed to about a 45-degree angle. And of course, Hortensia, you find yourself at the back of the ship. The creatures who were once hanging on and climbing to the back seem to be enchanted by these cakes that they've pulled off the illusion. But during the turn, the illusion still seems to be there, but it seems to be wavering as these creatures are abandoning ship. They're all running and jumping from the ship, some into the buildings nearby, some into the surf. Also, Eddie, I hate to be that guy, but that's the wrong one. What we need is the white eel with the other horrible appendages. Don't worry about that, guys. Just ignore that particular. Who's that guy? No one knows what that guy is. All right.
I think we just saw our future. I didn't like the look of it.
All right.
Very
So,
bullet.
with that being said, time slowly ticking away. What do you guys do as you head straight towards this creature?
And Ludovica pulls up Billum, looks at the thing, and says, "Don't go in there."
That's definitely something we don't want to go inside of.
I just want to point out, though, that we are on this ship. We are sitting on a giant spear. Like, if we can accelerate the ship even a bit further, we might just ram it or go through it.
Did you see what happened to those things? We'll get
No, I'm
disintegrated.
sorry, I was. Oh no, that sounds not. Well, we could accelerate it and try to get off the ship quite in time.
Everyone?
Maybe.
Was that what you were doing just now? Trying to get off the ship?
That was more like coincidental. That was not intended to happen, but it kind of happened anyways.
Well, better hold on to Billum from now on. And how do you suppose we can speed up the ship? She looks around a little helpless.
As you look around, you can see that some of the sailors are kind of losing their grip. One of them in particular seems to kind of slide for a moment as one of his friends kind of grabs onto him. You think that for a moment, Ludovica, that one of the ways to very hastily increase the speed of the ship would be to, of course, jettison some of the weight of the ship. Hortensia?
Does this thing look like a cousin of the siren beasts? Or does it look like something completely different? Or
It
can I
does.
not tell?
It definitely looks like okay, so it is, of course, a similar aquatic organism from the oceans of Malifaux. It is, however, not the same species. Thank you very much, Eddie. It is not the same species, however.
So I'm trying to figure out if my siren song is going to work on it. That's where I'm at.
Make a music check. This is kind of
Right.
like as you're kind of testing your notes, you know, the la 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 la, you know, and then if that was
myself undone.
there you go.
That
And you know, it's kind of like you're testing the ability rather than using it. So make your music check. And let's see what happens here.
Don't hit me. Don't hit me. That would
Alright.
be a 4 plus 7. 11. I can math.
11. Okay, with an 11, you can tell that your song it's not working in the same way. Rather than charming it, it seems to have slowed it a little, but this thing does not seem to have the same kind of cognitive response to your singing.
Don't hit me. Well, I don't think I can stop it with song.
I have to say, oh my God. Well, look, does it look like it's trying to eat the burning man? Or does it look like it's fueling the Burning Man? Or does it look like the Burning Man is fueling it? Maybe we're focusing on the wrong thing here. Aren't we supposed to be destroying a statue or something, not fighting fish?
Wait, it's seafood, right? Is it being cooked? Is it being cooked? Is that what's going on?
Anyone who wishes to may make a husbandry check to try and analyze the creature. Keeping in mind, you are still careening towards it at quite a rapid pace. You each, and I'm going to say at this point, will have at most 3 actions or 3 things that each of you are capable of doing before you will collide with it.
10.
All right. So with a 10, you can tell that this creature is more confused than anything else. You kind of at this point maybe have an understanding of these portals. The portals that have appeared have not summoned these creatures to do the beck and bidding of some sort of malicious, all-powerful creature. But the look on this particular beast is very similar to that of the other creatures, and that is of dislodgement, confusion. It has no idea where it is or what's happening. It's noticed the Burning Man in the sky, and up until the music and all of that, it hasn't really taken much note of anything. It's kind of like looking around at the buildings, not really knowing or understanding what they are, and then sort of headbutting them. These creatures are kind of flowing into it, and it's just attacking. It's angry, it's wild, it's vicious.
Can't we avoid collision with it, Professor Scarpati? It doesn't seem to be interested in us.
Looking around, is there a way to avoid it? Are there alleyways that we can anchor turn into?
Well, as you intend to do this, I would like you to make an engineering check, if you would be so kind, Mr. Scarpati. As you begin to scout around, you look through each of the different corridors. You're like, come on, there must be something. There must be anything.
That is a 6. No, wait, what is
Objection, objection, Your Honor. I have to object, I'm afraid. I object to that. I object most vociferously to that. We all know that there are plenty of alleyways in London, and there should be one that he could find. So just try and, you ass.
Now that I think of it, I have the feeling that this is not a car. I have no idea. Where's the brakes? I can't find the brake. I have no idea.
All right, you take a look, and basically all the alleyways that you could see, you kind of like get the impression that if you try to anchor them at this point, you would probably rip the anchor off. And you're kind of not entirely sure of how the maneuver would be going. So you tried to look specifically for turns on that side of the ship, the one that you didn't already use, and you just simply couldn't notice any. Or by the time you noticed them, they whizzed past you, and you're like, oh, that was one. Yeah, yes, exactly. All right,
You might be on the right idea though. What if we just went sideways and launched ourselves in its mouth?
Sideways, the ship wouldn't be able to, because you're still traveling down the alleyways that way. The ship being on a 90-degree angle wouldn't be able to travel. It wouldn't fit.
So what if we just lodge the ship at a 90-degree angle and we don't go any further? What if we just get ourselves stuck? Stuck seems like a good alternative at this point.
We
The
still need to
captain-
get to the statue.
Yes, we can
could
do
go
that
through
over
the
the
building.
buildings.
I'm with the Reprimer on, I'm afraid. Let's wedge ourselves in.
Of course you
Rather
are.
that than that.
Yeah, let's give it a
It's
good
wedging
wedging.
time. Finally, my
I have
physique.
the
Has
feeling though that we are running out of time, and with the current pressing against the ship, this might be difficult, more difficult than just throwing off some weight, accelerating the thing, and jumping onto the next building. I feel like this would be a lot easier.
The captain looks to you and says, listen, I fully understand that that it would be best to try and complete your mission, but I can't risk the crew and the civilians that we have on board the ship. What I can do is I can use the port side anchor and try to wedge us for a short time. Hopefully by that time, if you guys can disembark, climb on the buildings and somehow draw its attention away from the path in front of us, I can get the civilians to safety and you guys can continue to King Cross. There would be
It sounds like a
adequate
plan
amount
to
of...
get us off your ship.
well, I mean, if we get lodged here, we're going to be food anyway. It won't be long before those creatures come back up and tear us to pieces.
Wait a moment. Didn't you have some kind of awful spices or something, Ludovica?
And I blew them all on the Malifaux Rex.
Ah. Because if we could get it to close that great big gap in its mouth, stomach, whatever the hell it is, we could then ram it without necessarily being dissolved by the inner workings of it.
Well, there is a harpoon gun on the front of the ship. It's got one bullet or one harpoon in it. If any of you are a decent shot, you're more than welcome to try and see if that'll close its gate.
What about bombs? Explosives?
Look, this is a cruise liner. We don't have munitions, military weapons.
Why would you build a
Fine.
boat without
Does
bombs?
anyone here know how to fire a harpoon?
Well,
Not.
I get the feeling that I could. I'm not sure I have fired this particular part of harpoon, but I'm really good at shooting things, so I could try it at least.
Then you
You can
shuffle
do
up
it.
there quick.
One of the soldiers actually comes up
I
from
am
the
on
lower
my
deck.
way.
And as he does, he has a small orange box with him. He says, "Sir, madam, would flares do? We have the emergency flare charges."
Oh, very nice. Ludovica grabs them.
You grab the
What are
flare.
those?
There are 2 flare guns with 3 rounds each inside them.
Oh, like fireworks, like you use in the opera. How lovely.
Yeah, well, here you
Something
go.
like that.
Then Ludovica takes one of the flare gun pistols, and the other one goes to Hortensia.
Right.
Perhaps if we
Assuming
distract the creature whilst Professor John Scarpati is making the shot, we shall have a better chance of getting where we want to go.
agreed. Captain, would we be able to navigate around that creature if it were to be distracted, allowing us to continue on to King's Cross?
Yes, no, that would be perfect. We would.
All right then, fire everything we've got at the beast.
All right. So, those of you who wish to, whoever is on the harpoon gun may make me a heavy guns flip. Anyone who is using the flare guns can make a pistols check. And those of you who are not using any of those weapons may attempt to make a ranged attack of some variety as well. If
Or
you
can we
wish
just
so
shoot
done.
it with a pistol?
Yeah, 100%.
I got
Alright.
14.
Liking these numbers. 14. The flare gun flies out, and as it hits, you actually hit it in the middle part. Now, there's kind of almost like this gooey central column of flesh. Eddie, can we get the creature up again? I mean, it's easy to kind of show as well as describe. But there's this central column of flesh that, the creature from before kind of hit and then melted on. Your flare embeds in it and starts to smoke and flare up. The creature starts to kind of lash out. As it does so, it sort of ducks down a little to try and drown the fire. As it does, it sort of becomes more antsy and thrashes about. The second flare attack. Who shot that one?
Allow me, miss.
Oh, certainly. I fear I may break another nail. It's been that kind of an evening.
Objection. No? You got a trick up your sleeve there, Billum?
You know what? I always have a reload up me.
Up you?
All right. Well.
You know
As,
what?
all right. So as you fire it, what'd you get for your total?
That is a total of 9.
The flare hits one of the buildings and bounces off, hitting the water. You can still see the flare kind of floating around, but it's a no good. All right. Next up, yes, Hortensia.
I would like to use an illusion, please.
All right. What would the illusion you would like to conjure be?
I'm going to make an illusion of fireworks. The fireworks
Yeah.
are going to look like fireworks, but they will have my voice. So
I'm
they're going to
kinda
say things
thankful.
like, "Whee! Pop, rah, bang, wah, wah, rrr, pop." One of them is a dinosaur, apparently. Yeah, so it's going to look like fireworks, but it's going to sound like me. It's going to be distracting, but they have the center stage condition, which will cause a negative flip, assuming I can make this work. So this is my flip to see if I can make the magic. I can make the magic.
Yeah, that looks like you can make the magic. All right. So as you begin to fire out these shots that sort of fly out in the air, you literally hear Hortensia
Bang, pop, rah.
explosion noise. As these little things are going, the creature sort of turns its attention upwards. It is distracted. It actually tries to eat one of the fireworks as it's sort of like. You hear as it opens its mouth and Hortensia's voice comes out. All right. As this happens, when it opens its mouth, Edward, you find a perfect shot and take aim.
Yes, I'm going to cheat fate because fate sucks.
Does it? Well,
So-
yep.
I'm cheating fate, and I get a
Boss
16.
monster. You get a boss monster.
All right, shh, quiet.
What? No, I don't get a
Oh.
boss monster. I get a hit. It's a hit, damn you. The boss monster bar at the bottom is an illusion cast by the prima donna. Can't you hear it roaring in prima donna?
You fire your shot at the creature, and as it's hit, it sort of throws its head back. It's both in pain from the fire burning in its chest. It's in pain from like getting shot in the face. There's just lots of pain happening as Professor Scarpati, with your heavy guns as you aim.
I have a 14 to hit.
Oh, a solid hit. The harpoon and strikes in its center. As it does, pools of blood just start pouring out of its chest. It roars in agony and slithers down a nearby alleyway, trying to get
Disconnect
away
the
from.
cable.
Yeah, the cable is sort of stretching out and following it as it starts to move.
You gotta count that.
Scarpati?
Yeah, I will cut the cable, or if there is, like, usually there is a switch where you can dislodge it.
Yes, there is. Very well. You grab hold of the switch and you pull it, which severs the cable, and it runs off into the water. The ship goes up in this huge, phenomenal cheer as you begin to make your way through and past the creature itself. You hear that, you see some people are hugging, some people are crying, some people are kind of, just relieved, and you hear the sound of the captain. Stand to! As the soldiers kind of like quickly go, oh shit, we're not out of the woods yet. As the captain says, all right, we're coming up on King's Cross Square. We need to be ready. There isn't going to be much room for us to be able to maneuver, so we're only going to get one shot at this. Now, honored guests, how do you expect to, blow up the statue, I guess?
Last
You're
time I had a
please.
little paper.
What?
A bit of paper.
Yes, it was a little magic paper. I don't believe we have a second. Thoughts?
Don't we have the thing with the heat?
The soul
Sorry?
stones.
Yes,
Soul
you have
Stone
the
could work, I suppose.
you have the burning soul stone.
Wait, what does the
Can we-
paper do, prima donna?
Well, do you not remember when we were in the sewer with that little man and we had the paper with the rune and then we put it on the statue and then the statue exploded?
You only had the one bit of paper, and the paper went with
Yes,
the statue.
yes. The single piece of paper that we no longer have with the rune, it went boom.
Yeah.
I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Can we channel the soul stone somehow? I mean, fling it at the statue? What's the plan?
No, one has to project magic through it. That was the research that the professor and I found. Isn't that right, Professor? We had to channel the magic through the soul stone, and that would do something.
Well, it's primed. It's totally primed. Look at it. It's glowing like a stove in heat. I mean,
well, Ludovica, prima donna, isn't this really your purview here? Can't you make it?
Usually to use the energy from a soulstone, you would need a rather complicated machine or very good knowledge of magic.
What you would know...
Can you do the sucking souls out of the soul stone and then blasting? Because the only idea I can come up with is ramming this one, and I feel like I'm out of ideas here. I just want to run the boat into something, I assume.
We could
Actually, I should not be able to eat the energy from the soul stone, being it's a refined form of the energy. It's complicated. I can't eat it. I'm very sorry, but the prima donna I might be able to channel through magic.
Yes. What if you did that? If you forced all of your magic into it, surely it's got to come out somehow. I mean, it's you know.
No, rather tapping into the stone to draw the magic out and then project a spell and hope that it doesn't kill us.
I was going to say, being a conduit for that much magic would... Well, you only need to look up to see what happens, or what can happen.
You suddenly hear the sound of a flame being lit. And you look nearby, and you could see sitting on underneath the balcony of the helm is a small goblinoid figure or gremlinoid.
Oh, you.
It is I, La Rouge, and I have listened to what you are saying about this. How you say, giant crystal. Well, you see, I have seen and heard things. It is what I do. And one thing I have heard is that soulstone poisoning. Oh, mon Dieu. It is a terrible way to die. The more that one...
It does keep your body intact.
Yeah, sometimes, but most we are not this lucky. And that is only a soulstone with but a few, if not a single soul upon it. This has captured the essence of something greater, something more sinister. Can you not feel it? Can you not sense the evil within the crystal?
Oh, French, so overdramatic.
Better than being underdramatic, eh? But still, anyone who uses this will be inviting
settling on me.
Oh, sorry.
I can feel bad luck settling on me, as if someone is wishing me to fail twice.
Such is the fate. The universe. She is a terrible bitch. But still...
Should I just shoot him, Ludovica? I point my pistol at LaRouge.
What is that supposed to do, or how is that supposed to help us?
I'm not sure, but I think I might feel better for it.
Look, there's no reason to be hasty, monsieur. Listen, I come here. You're right. I'm perhaps being a bit too dramatic. He puts out his cigarette. He kind of kicks it across and, okay, look, this is all I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that perhaps instead of one of you or us, perhaps maybe we ask someone else to go and touch the giant burning crystal and see what happens, you know? I mean, why put all our eggs in one basket and then have the basket explode on us? Or turn us
because we only have one shot.
I'm
So
glad
we
you're
only-
We do want something to explode.
Well, yes, that's true, but preferably not one of you, eh?
But what if you, prima donna, and you, Madam von Molenbeek, what if both of you were to join forces to can't you do that sort of thing? I mean, like a coven or something like that? Wouldn't that mitigate the danger?
Know whether the School of Illusions works well with necromancy.
Right.
Isn't there a school of necrolution or illumancy?
We have to make it up on the spot. Hortensia, your thoughts?
Well, you've got 7 seconds.
Well,
But what if we
these are my
all
thoughts.
act as dampers? Would it help if we all together try to like divide the poisoning amongst each other
Oh,
instead of having
I'd be willing to do that. I certainly could absorb quite a lot, actually. Quite a good dampener, actually.
Oh, would you look at the time? I suppose that I should go. What's that? Yes, there's a problem in the bilge. I'll go check that. The black box needs a cuddle. Okay, I'm going down there. I will
Hortensia reaches down. It's a very large lady. Grabs La Rouge by the front of the jerkin and lifts him up.
Eh.
Tell us what you know, because it's clearly more than you are insinuating. I'm
Okay.
going to use intimidate.
Okay, make your intimidate check. You can have an advantageous flip to this, but I'm going to. No, I won't. Ah, man, I'm gonna save those for later. I've got so many disadvantages. I feel like somebody up there really wants you guys to die today.
Yes, there is a particular individual who wants us to die. We're not going to mention any names, but I might just have a lawsuit ready for a certain individual.
Trying to make things interesting. So that is a 12 to intimidate.
Oh yeah, La Rouge is very compliant with with everything going. All right, listen. I will tell you what you want to know. Just my feet they dangle, and it's bad for circulation.
Yes, you'd better talk quickly, hadn't you?
Okay, listen. Here's what I know. My cousin, he comes from Malifaux. He mentioned something about the governor general doing some evil experiment, something or other. He mentioned that this whole burning thing is some sort of god power, something called the tyrant.
Yes, we know. Now, how do we channel the magics of the soul stone into the statue?
It is like channeling the power of the sun. Whoever touches it, whoever uses it, is reasonable to believe that they will probably explode. If you can channel it, it will be for a second, but it will incinerate anyone who uses it. At least that's what I've been told. I do not know. This is only just speculation.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I hold him by the shoulders. I give him a kiss. Mwah, mwah. Don't hold out on us again, okay? And then I let him go.
We. Yeah. He sort of.
You know what, dear? The black box needed cuddling, I believe. Off you go. Off you go, sweet tea. Yes, off you go, darling.
You hear him sort of step onto the staircase and then just fall.
Certain death. Well, that's lovely, isn't it?
Well,
I feel like if we have to do this and if we don't have any other options, right? We can't just blow up the statue. We have to channel it into the statue.
wait a moment. Didn't
Well, all I'm saying is I'm the oldest. I already have
No.
a very good successor here in place. And
Professor, if I might interrupt you.
If we need a volunteer, I would volunteer for it.
We don't have to. We don't have to. Remember, we went into the archives. King's Cross Station has capacity for a soul stone. It just was never installed. They never finished it. But Big Ben got the first one. But the mechanics of King's Cross, they can house a soul stone. We haven't. We simply just need to redirect where the power goes. Instead of going into the train, it goes into the statue. That way, none of us have to die.
Eddie,
Wouldn't
can
all
we
of that
give
be
a,
underwater?
Oh, sorry, real quick.
You don't
Eddie,
need to breathe. You could install the stone. The professor could talk you through it. How to reconnect it. I mean, couldn't. Maybe we supercharge all of the water, but we're on the boat. It's fine.
Eddie, could we give a green imp to Edward, please? Thank you.
I
You
mean,
can have mine.
even
That was
that-
impressive.
It's
That was
either
very
that or we go back to Big Ben, and then we try and point Big Ben at the statue. But I think it might be easier just to install the stone into the King's Cross station.
Yes,
You're
indeed. From the
Billum, wonderful man. I grab your face and I kiss you.
Well, it's
I
just
think you
paperwork.
saved us all.
Oh, I need to sit down.
You feel a very like firm clap on your back from me, which is like, you are way more clever than you often pretend to be. I'm proud to know you, man.
Well, I can't take all. It is in the paperwork. It's not really. But how do we get there now? That now we have an idea. But how do we do it? As you say, it might be underwater. Ludovica, would you be willing to go into the water with the stone?
Certainly. Who else? I mean, just having a nose doesn't mean he doesn't have to breathe, and she just hooks a thumb over to Billum.
Can't swim.
Well, you don't need to swim. You need to actually sink. It's at the bottom of King's Cross
exactly.
Station.
You just need to go down.
Oh, we can't be this. Captain, on the ship, are there no diving bells or I don't know. I mean, how do you repair the underside of your ship when you've got a sort of a hole? Or how do ships work even? I'm not entirely sure. Well, we can't be thwarted at this moment just because of some, frigid death-inducing water.
Well, actually, we do have some underwater capacity. There's a small diving suit that we use just kind of tour and show people the bottom of the Thames. It's pretty experimental, but it might do the trick.
Why would anyone want to see the bottom of the Thames? I imagine it's pretty nasty.
Well, one of the things we were doing is we were just testing it out. The idea was to take it on to other ships, basically just end up seeing what people see and getting them to walk around with the fishies, just little things. But yeah, we never got to try it out because, well, all this.
Well, we don't have much time, so who has any knowledge of engineering whatsoever? Professor, surely you have some?
A little.
I do
Billum?
have some, and I think I might have installed soul stones before. Not every contraption created at the University of Transmortus was powered by steam, I think.
Oh.
Well, I think
Fatemaster?
we've already agreed that you are going to be the spearhead of this X course. You're going, but we tried to figure out who else can assist you the best down there. I feel like Billum would be probably the most.
We all know I can get into small spaces.
Indeed. Will the suit fit, however?
They said it is a small suit.
But no, we have a variety of suits.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure one of the children's suits will fit Billum.
I did wear that dress.
Yes. Okay. Marvelous. And I believe I can get my fishy friends to help you out a little. Certainly keep them off your back.
All right, then the rest of us will be up here and trying to do our very best to save things. And Professor, the engineering side of things, are we just going to overload King's Cross and just blow the whole thing up? That should take the statue out, shouldn't it? I mean, it's underneath the statue.
If needs must. It would be easier if there was any way to channel it.
Well, we'll probably only know when you get down there. You might find that perhaps the statue is connected in some way. If they are all linked, that was what the guild did, didn't they? Didn't they install these things to channel power? If they did, then perhaps it might very well already be connected. We just are unaware of it. All right, best that the two of you get down there then as quick as you can.
I would like to take a closer look at the statue in the meantime. Maybe we can learn something from the statue.
Before I go.
Good, then let's get into position.
Sorry, Billum?
Yes, Billum.
John, you should take the book back. There is a good chance that I won't come back.
I will Well, I will just hold it for you until you come back, and you promise me that you come back, because this business is not going to run on my shoulders, but it is going to run on your shoulders. So I will keep it for you, but make sure that you return.
I'll do my best, Dad.
It's so beautiful.
Where's the suit? Quick.
All right.
Someone grace me up.
The captain moves around to the back and instructs several sailors to bring out several small crates, each of which are filled with a leather suit that contained this kind of big iron bell on its head. To boot, there's a very heavy weight on its back that seems to be attached to pipes. They seem to be kind of prattling on about these instructions, obviously, try to keep the tether secured. If you can avoid it, don't close doors, don't, kind of turn too many corners, little things like that as they fit you out. They also say that that the water is icy cold, and the suit will be able to protect you for a short period of time, but you do not want to stay in the water for too long. The actual temperature shock will probably end up killing most people. So what they're going to do is they're going to run a bath with, just some of the water that they've got on board the ship at a very, very low temperature. And you guys are going to sort of wear the diving bells and sit in it for a while before you arrive at King's Cross, which will be about 5 minutes time.
If I can, I would like to, at least overlook the construction, the way that Billum is put into the suit, to make sure that everything is secure, everything is performed to the best of its capabilities.
All right. You do so. You're having a look at it. The mechanism looks pretty simple as it is, but yeah, you kind of take a bit of time to kind of inspect it. Sebastian, as you're being suited up, a very familiar face greets you as you.
I thought you said there was only one suit.
No. There's suits enough for everyone. I mean, does everyone know? I mean, all of you don't have to go, but
I thought there was only one suit, and that the three of us were staying on the ship.
I got it's fine. We can go if we can.
Oh, no, sorry.
Do,
so to clarify,
fine.
there are a bunch of different suits, and there's a child-sized one for Billum, should he wish to use it. So who would like to suit up? Obviously, no, Billum is, and Ludovica.
I don't think Ludovica needs a suit.
No, probably not.
Well, I think we should.
She's.
Well, there's the never split the party saying. I don't know. I think this is a very, very interesting, important lesson to learn here. We should, if we can go all together, we should go all together.
All right.
Read.
So yes, as you're suiting yourselves up, Scarpati and Billum, you're kind of helping each other into the suits. Ludovica, someone's trying to put a suit on you, and then they kind of stop. It looks like they're about to try and say something like, I'm sorry, are you pardon, but I mean,
Dead?
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's fine. If you don't drag me out to any kind of guild police.
Yes, of course.
It's not the situation for that, is it?
No, of course not. I just, don't you eat brains?
No, I eat souls. But don't worry, I'll leave you dead.
Okay.
So you stay alive and you'll be safe from me. Anyway, do you have a knife or something?
Yes, Mom. Here, Mom. He hands you a knife from his boot.
And then she cuts off her skirts, so she's standing there.
I thought you said, and then you stab him.
All right. You cut off your skirt to make it a little bit more accessible for moving and maneuvering. Hortensia, you as a rather what's the word? Large framed woman.
Statuesque, darling. Yes, indeed. I am generously
Um,
proportioned.
Wasn't me.
Very well.
Easily seen from
Yes,
stage.
bosomy all the
and
way
good.
down, in fact.
You are guided in by a couple of sailors who sort of realize that it's maybe a little bit of a tight fit. What they do, however, what they well, they don't say that to you, but what they do is they go, hang on, if we use a little bit of extra cloth here, you hear the sound of some ripping coming from the back, along with them sort of tearing and ripping another suit apart a little bit. You then hear them sort of like pulling, and still feels very snug and tight, but eventually you find yourself inside of quite a nice thing. A little snug, but you're okay. I mean, you've worn a corset before, you know what it's like.
Is the helmet big enough for my hair?
No.
Well, Montague, I don't wish you to think less of me, but the time has come. My secret is out. It was a wig all the time. Please
Fear
don't
not.
despise me.
I could never fear someone as beautiful as yourself. I too have been wearing a wig.
Really?
Yes.
Come to me. I waddle over in this overly tight suit like this.
It's almost like watching those two sumo, like at parties, they have the sumo wrestlers that sort of bounce off each other. It's almost like that, but because like there's so much mechanisms and stuff between the two of them, their bellies kind of touch before they do. As there's this kind of almost a loving embrace happening here. Scarpati, is there a secret you want to reveal? Just I'm asking now, just
I know, or like I probably will leave the hat.
Very well. Okay, so all of you have managed to gather and place yourselves inside of these
I've also prepared a very brief document for all of us to sign. In the event of our deaths, unfortunately, the only one I can think of who's going to survive is that rogue La Rouge, in which case we've left all of our possessions to La Rouge on the requirement that he shares our story with everybody that he meets. Should he stop to share our story, he will forfeit all possible incomes and benefits derived therefrom, and forthwith, based upon the items that he does obtain at the end of our existence. Just in case anyone wants to sign it, it is here.
No way.
Well, there is a little subclause that if you, well, yes.
I feel like before all of my possessions go, or before all of like Scarpati and Son possessions go to La Rouge, I would rather give it to the captain of the ship.
But who's more likely to survive, Professor? Let's be honest, La Rouge has been pretty good at being around all the time.
I think this is up to you, Billum. You have to decide.
Well, if you leave it to La Rouge, I'll get 60%.
Very true. He will bury 60% of everything in the ground with Billum.
So he won't get everything. I'll take it to the grave.
This is a
Let's go.
morbid bent, and I do believe the city is falling apart. Shall we?
All right. Gathering onto the front of the ship, you can see as you peel out of this particular area, what you expect to see is a big high rise to King Cross Station. This beautiful, opulent train station, a marvel of engineering in this time of industrialization. But what you see stops you for a moment. You didn't realize before, but now you can actually see how high the water levels are. You don't see King Cross at all. Just a flat lake of water that seems to be just coiling and circling around with a current that listlessly protects itself from the harsher currents due to the buildings surrounding the square. Some of the sailors take off their hats. They know that many of the guild soldiers were using King Cross as an evacuation point during this crisis, should anything happen. The people that were here are the people who are weak, elderly, infirm, children even, all of which brought to King Cross Station in the event of an emergency.
Let us do our bit to save our little town.
Make
You
a good
brace
swap.
And
Yes,
get the ticket out of here.
Jack! Jack! I'm trying to call the ghost that we found here before.
make a necromancy check.
I do not have that skill.
Then you may use
On what might
tenacity.
it be based? Well, but not. Let's see what happens, shall we? I may use common sense for a positive flip during any narrative phase.
Very well. Common sense, yes, I will vote for that.
I have the sense of common. It is common only to those who have it, but I am one.
Common sense. So rare, it's a superpower.
Yes. 12. 12 of masks.
As you call out, there's a response.
Who dares summon the spirits of the wayward souls of London? Who dares speak the word that like viscera drops from the bladed knife of...
Oh, it's you, miss. Fancy
Hello,
seeing you again.
Well,
You-
what to do, I know.
Manifesting in front of you from a series of smoke, you can see the ghostly image of a child that has manifested. This, of course, you know as Jack, the infamous street urchin forgotten child who lurks and lingers around the streets of London.
Do you know what we did? We did you a favor. Can you guess what it was?
Oh, I don't know. You killed someone stupid.
We certainly did. A certain
No.
spring-heeled Jack that you wanted us to get rid of?
You killed him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, truly, miss, that's amazing. I don't know what to say. You know, most of you adults, you're all, you know, talk this, do that. Let's negotiate. You know, it's so hard to find good old-fashioned adults who what kill people that done young folks like us wrong.
Indeed. But we need your help, if you can
Help?
provide it. I fill him in on the plan with the soul stone, with the thing, with the statue, with the everything else. What do you think? Is there anything you can do to help us?
Look, miss, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of death here. There's more than just these fish things that are lurking underneath there. All I can do is I can make sure that, well, the kids aren't around. They're still angry. They're still scared. They're lashing out at everyone. So if you want, I can go and try and Pied Piper them clean out of King Cross for the time being. But as for those fishy things and other monsters and doodads, you'll have to be on your own. I became Australian because I can't keep an English accent. Hope you understand, miss.
That's colonialism for you, darling. Don't worry about it.
Fair dinkum.
Oh, God. Well, dear, you look after yourself, okay?
And miss, I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but, you know, you're one of the all right ones, okay? You know, don't end up like us, eh?
I certainly hope not.
He sort of bashfully kind of scratches his nose, and then he sort of, all right, well, I'll get to it. He kind of looks over at Edward. Yeah, right. As he then just dives into the water, and sort of the gas seems to dissipate.
I have good news, everybody. I've figured out how to keep these diving suits warm.
For how
Now,
long?
I'm not entirely sure, but I suggest that we go so that I can get out of this suit as soon as possible. Let's dive.
All right. Grabbing hold of one another's hands, you brace as your support crew on the ship ensures that your tether and your air supply are fully functional. You take a deep breath as you leap, stepping off the bow and into the water. The cold is bracing. Even after spending the better part of 10, 15 minutes in icy cold water yourself, the water here is bracing and frigid as you begin to almost immediately sink to the bottom. There, you can see unfolding in front of you this almost surreal sight. King Cross in almost a pristine manner, frozen in time under the waters as the patterns of light sort of create this cascading spiral from the surface of the water above you. Glaring from the front of the actual King Cross station is none other than the statue, which appears to be that of a muscular woman who has a spear and a severed head of a Nephilim in its hand. The face has been replaced with that of a ram's skull, and it seems to be standing maybe 2-3 times the size of the statue you previously saw.
Has it grown?
It has not grown. Now,
Right.
as you land, sorry. Was there a
I
thing?
assume we're talking through our rings. Can we sort of shout through the... Because I assume it's a big diving helmet.
The diving helmet would connect to the air supply, and there would kind of be like this echoey tinge as the noise would basically reverberate through the pipes and up, then be amplified and then forced back down through the mechanism so that you could communicate with one another.
I fought loudly.
It goes into
Ludovica,
the air
being the
supply.
only one who can't talk to the other ones via the
Yes.
helmets,
Yes,
points
very
at the
true.
statue, and
I've never seen a more confusing conductor.
I believe the Soul Stone needs to be installed in King's Cross itself, which would be underground near the central transistor terminal.
she has her ear pressed against Edward's helmet, and then
There's only one problem. I have no idea what a transistor is. It was just written on the plans that were filed in the docket, which I can't bring out right now on the fact that they're right.
So where's the terminal? Terminal.
Inside.
Aye.
Looking around, you see the entrance to the southern entrance to King's Cross Station. As you see the flight of stairs that would otherwise be leading up, you, for the most part, can climb up there without any problems. Ludovica, as a question, they would have also offered you some boots to weigh you down so you wouldn't necessarily need to swim. Would you have taken them? Yep. So you're wearing the boots as well. So you're all kind of marching at a slow pace towards the station. But once you arrive, you can see the platforms themselves are littered. I mean littered with the sight of corpses and bodies floating listlessly around. True to his word, Jack seems to have marshaled the restless spirits of the dead that remained here. as you kind of enter this almost murky, curtained mausoleum of death. I would like everyone to make me a perception check, and I would like everyone to flip with a disadvantage, and I will consume imps from everyone.
I mean, a notice check. A notice check.
Notice check. Notice check.
I'm using all the bad cards. You're welcome, people.
Oh, there's always room for bad cards.
Oh my.
Wow. Very nice. Impressive.
14
right.
notice with
That's
disadvantage.
good. Wow.
Yeah, you're the
I got
only
5.
one.
I think I fogged up my helmet. I breathed on it too much, and now I can't see anything.
All right.
Yeah, my eyes are watering because Billum farted and it went through the, and now it's in my helmet, and I'm like,
At least you'll be warm.
All right, you basically like try to breathe for a few moments, and most of you don't really notice anything. However, Edward, you take good notice of the corpses because, of course, as a lawyer, you want to make sure that none of your clients were here when this occurred. So you're just kind of giving them a cursory glance, and that's when you notice that a few of these corpses. Sorry, Billum, what was yours again?
I got a 10 there.
Yeah, 10's a fail. Yep. So yes, you notice that some of these corpses seem to have been torn asunder, and there's no connecting appendage or a missing arm or a missing head, or you're kind of noticing more and more of these as you sort of progress inwards.
Anyone notice something's been feeding on these things?
I look. Can we see teeth marks or claws or anything?
All right, Hortensia, you look around. You find the nearest body and begin to examine the wound. When all of a sudden, Edward, you notice something zipping at an incredible speed towards Hortensia. It is a large quadrupedal shark creature. Eddie, can we get the creature up for us as you can see this rather large, imposing beast?
Not a quadrishark.
It is. It's a sharkoped.
A sharkoped. Is this
Is
courtesy of our
seriously the
wonderful
name?
fans who've been so generous in giving us the opportunity to slay giant monsters?
Oh, no. I've got something very, very special for that. But
Oh,
this
good.
large shark strikes Hortensia in the side. Hortensia, can you make me a defensive flip with a negative flip? This is just because you're unaware of it.
A what flip with a what flip?
Defensive flip. please.
Defensive.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't bode well.
It does not bode well at all, as the frenzy, as they're called, sails towards you and collides hard with your body. Could you flip?
Hear
Oh,
an
actually, no,
operatic scream. I will not do it because I don't want to open everyone.
All right, so that is the creature that you can see right there.
Oh man, he's
Uh,
stacked.
Oh yeah, he definitely lifts as the creature veers sidewards and bites into Hortensia. Your suit actually does provide you an armor bonus, so you only take 4 points of damage after it reduces 2 lots of damage from you. As this thing hits you square in the side, it then starts to shake you back and forth, and your character must make a toughness challenge, if you would be so kind, to avoid bleeding.
I would like to avoid bleeding. Can I use my bonus to
You don't need to.
avoid
That's fine.
bleeding? Is that okay?
That is okay.
Good. I have avoided bleeding.
You
Okay, good.
have avoided bleeding. So as he sort of shakes you back and forth, he seems to have tangled and caught on mostly your cloth. So he hasn't torn any open wounds, but this one large creature is just shaking its head back and forth What do you guys do as you see this happen? What's your reaction?
I'm going to try and grab a body and bash it against this creature to try and give it something else to feed on.
All right. You swim over to a body and grab hold of it. Taking it, you kind of like sort of huck it at the creature. Make me a well, actually, you know, we'll go into initiative, but you can make me a throwing check as you make the initiative as well. So initiative checks from everyone, please. And the only reason that Edward got the extra action is because he noticed it. So yeah, we'll go with that. All right.
Because I'm not wearing my luck hat anymore. I've got the black joker.
Oh no.
Oh no.
At least it's out on initiative.
Yeah.
That is very true. That is very true. All right. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. All right. So, initiative. Ludovica.
9.
9. Billum.
11.
Scarpati.
Well, that's the one with the black joker.
All right. Edward.
Sorry,
13.
initiative. Yeah, it's a
Oh, wow. And Hortensia.
8. 8.
8. All right.
And my throwing check was abysmal. It was an absolute 1.
You are underwater, to be fair, and bodies aren't
that
very
is
strong.
true. That is true. You kind of throw it, but you accidentally just tear off an arm from this.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry.
It does have a very nice signet ring. You know it from the family of Lord Mulberry.
Lord Mulberry. That ring might open doors for us. Hang on, my darling, precious prima donna. I'd pull the ring off.
All right. The ring is quite valuable. It is actually worth about 100 script.
I don't care about the value. Imagine we return that to the Mulberry estate. They might give me a small cottage or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Become
All
a
right.
client.
Not
All
a lost
right.
relative.
There you go. That is what the creature looks like. All right. So first up on the list, now outside of the reaction that Edward had, Edward, you now have a full turn. A short distance away from you, you can see the creature still has hold of your beloved Hortensia.
Is there bits of wood around that I could use as a stake or a spike or something?
You see some railway spikes that have been kind of used in the construction that have been packed away and trussed up.
I'll grab that and try and stab it if I can.
Very well. I need you to make me a notice check.
A notice check? Yes, I can make you a notice check. Why not? There we are. 14. Sorry, 16.
Very well. In which case, as you go and grab hold of the spike and pull it out, you prepare to launch an attack against this large creature, when all of a sudden you feel something grab you from behind. A large clawed hand. You turn and you see a large Neverborn, a Nephilim with one arm and one eye. It looks at you with fresh wounds. And even underwater, you hear its voice.
I remember you, young lawyer.
It is Spring-Heeled Jack.
Crap.
I stab him in the eye with a spike.
Make your melee
I've warmed
attack.
my suit up again.
Make your melee attack. I swear. I swear if you hit him. You know what? Yeah.
I'm going to use my advantage on this one.
Okay, go on. So you get a positive flip, and you have consumed your advantage flip.
Oh, come on. So what is melee attack? Might.
Nope, melee. Oh, yes, sorry. Might, yes.
Oh, drat.
Come on, darling. You can do it.
7.
A 7. Now, given that you are underwater and that he is not really expecting you to stab him in the eye,
Well, he only has 1.
yes, you actually get 2 positive flips on this. So you actually get another positive flip and then another one in addition because he honestly actually can't see you.
Red Joker. And then another one, as you say. But the Red Joker, I think, stands.
I think it does. All right, you turn and you thrust your railway spike into his eye. He releases you and cries out in pain as he holds both eyes. This, by the way, is your boss battle, the return of Spring-Heeled Jack, for vengeance against none other than Edward for stabbing him in the eye, for Billum for biting off one of his arms, and for being plunged into the water, where he has been swimming around pissed off pretty much up until the point where he went, I know that guy. Which is really ironic, given that you are you are the most forgettable character. So yeah, this guy's got a vendetta against you. So yeah, till either you die or he dies, this is what's happening. Well done. Flip your damage, if you would be so kind. You get a... what was your total with your melee? 13 now with a thing?
With the Black Joker, no, it was 12. With the Red Joker, it was 12.
All right, so flip 2, take the lowest. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Just flip 1. Because, again, he's blind and yada, 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 yada.
3 it
All right.
is.
So, you stab him in the eye, you will deal 2 points of damage. You can actually cheat this if you so desire.
Yes, I do. I'll cheat Fate.
All right, what do you wish to cheat it up to?
8 of
8?
crows.
All right, 8. You deal 3 points of damage to its eye, which it honestly just is not impressed with. It's not happy. It didn't want it. And yet this is what's happened to it. All right. Your second action.
I'll just stab it again.
All right, another melee attack if you'd be so kind.
I'm just going to stab it and stab it and stab it and stab it, and then that's not going to work.
You try again, and this time, as you try to hit it, he sort of swats your hand away and avoids getting stabbed once more. Oh man, this thing is so angry. This thing is so angry. Billum, you're up next. You can see that Edward is now thrashing around with what looks to be this immensely large Neverborn. You recognize it as you still kind of have the taste of this Neverborn in your mouth a little. It tasted like burning, because remember the black blood was acidic. But yeah, it's there. The giant shark is shaking Hortensia.
It looks like Edward's got a handle on it. He stabbed it in the eye. It's blinded. I'm going to help Hortensia. I'm going to rush towards the quadrupedal shark creature. I'm going to use my martial arts to thrust my hand inside of its gills.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. You swim up to the shark, make a martial art attack as you try to thrust your hand into the neck of the creature. Billum, you can do so at disadvantage because screw you.
All right. Well, that's it's a 2. That's an 8. I can cheat that disadvantage though, can't I?
You cannot.
I cannot.
All right, but you do have a second action though.
I do. Well, if I fail at the first one, then it's going to be my second arm in its gills.
All right.
I think I know exactly where this is going.
You thrust your second arm into its gills.
Excellent.
Dang
it. That is an 18. to swim inside of its gills.
That'll hit. That is a straight flip as you stab it in the gills.
Right, that's is it thrashing about? I'm trying to get it to let go as I'm digging into it.
Yeah, yep. So straight flip for damage.
Oh, sorry, straight flip on the damage. That's a 10.
All right, so medium damage to it. What do you get?
Medium damage would be 2.
All right, 2 points of damage as you thrust it in the gills. It causes its mouth to open and release Hortensia. As it does so, it sort of coughs, well, I suppose how a shark would cough, I guess, and shakes its head once again. It then turns its attention towards you as it's its turn now. So it is going to open its jaw and just lash out, trying to snap up poor Billum. It's going to do so. So it's just going to arch its head, flip for defense as it tries to grab you.
Certainly. I would like to cheat that.
Okay.
My aces are high, so my one here is actually an 11. That'll
Nice.
be a 18.
Very well, absolutely. You managed to avoid getting snapped at. It then, however, thrashes its tail and turns its head back around and tries to bite you yet again. Another defensive flip.
That is also an 11.
And once again, you swim, ducking and dodging, but these creatures are not called frenzies for no reason, as they now get a third melee attack action to try and inflict yet another attack as it turns and tries to bite you overhead this time, as it slams its face downward to grab you.
All right. Christ, that is a... my brain has lost it. 14.
14. With a 14, you dodge the third attack as it sort of seems to be snapping and thrashing, trying its best to grab onto Billum. Billum is small, he is fast, he is avoiding this thing. This creature just hasn't landed a single hit on you. However, it is now Spring-Heeled Jack's turn. He looks, well, tries to. He looks around. He tries to look around, and as he opens his eyes, just these pools of black blood fall from his face.
You insignificant worm! You miserable sot! You dare take my other eye? Fine, fine! I shall introduce you all to a watery grave. Then I will use your bones and blood to turn you into soul stones. I will return. I will find my way back, and I will do it.
He reaches up with one claw.
With your blood.
As he seems to reach up, he pretty much just flips his hands around till he tries to grab hold of Edward. What he does grab instead, and I'm just going to roll randomly to see who he does get. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So roll a d4 for me, please. Game. Thank you. Dice. Also dice. Here we go. Yeah. A 4. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Hortensia. As if things went bad already. Spring-Heeled Jack's arm grazes your breathing tube and grabs hold of it. And as he does, he just instinctively pulls and tugs. You hear the sounds of a crash and a splash coming from the other side where the boat is. You turn and you can see a couple of sailors as the machine that you're all attached to lands in the water. Several of these smaller fish creatures seem to be swimming up, trying to grab and trying to rip at them as quickly as possible. All right. That is what you see. And that's what he does on his turn. Next up is Ludovica.
Which one of us has the soul stone?
Currently, because of encumbrance, most likely you.
I guess the rest of them is lost, so I just lumber on as quickly as possible with the soul stone. You can probably see her lips move.
There's definitely a bubble that sort of comes up, and then as it pops when it reaches the surface, there's like a swear word in German that just goes out. As you make your way to the actual platform, you can see just resting above the archway in front of King's Cross is this huge clock. And as you look at it, you recognize a mechanism, a housing mechanism, almost identical to the one in Big Ben. However, as pointed out before, just lacks a soul stone.
And I'm going to bend down and unlatch the lead shoes to swim up to the contraption.
All right, you unlatch your shoes. I need an athletics check for you as you begin to swim upwards. And I
an athletics check for taking off my shoes.
Yeah, just taking up your shoes. Like they're double laced with disadvantage because I'm gonna eat your imp. This is what I've been saving them for.
Yeah, then athletics, I drew a 6, and my might is -2, and I don't have any points in athletics, so 4.
All right. You try to swim upwards, but your body is filled with perforations and hollow sections. Gaining buoyancy or lift is rather difficult, and it's more physical than even for other people. As you attempt to swim upwards, I need you to make me a necromancy check, if you would be so kind.
Yeah, sure. I did put some points into necromancy. That is, let me see, that's a 10. So tenacity and my necromancy point, that is a 13.
13. With a 13, you find your body isn't sort of pulling up. Your eyes begin to glow. This soul energy begins to gather around you. And suddenly, this monstrous hand grabs you around the waist and begins to lift you higher. You turn and you see the lumbering form of Goliath underwater, lifting you slowly. You notice that the water flooding the body and the system pretty much just has his heart, which is normally overheating, just releasing these bubbles as it's trying its best to sort of hang on and not be pushed away by the currents and the streams. Its body, of course, comprised, for those of you who remember, of the corpses of several nuns, is not really well suited to sort of floating around underwater, but it's trying as it lifts you higher. You're within reach of the housing unit, but we will need to get to the next turn for you to plant it. All right, we then move on to...
I do remind you, I don't have much time left.
Will do. Hortensia, it is your turn.
All right. As far as I understand it, the breathing unit has fallen in the water. The fish people are swimming towards it.
Regular fish people, yes.
Yes. I'm going to use Siren Song with my last breath and hope that I can get the fish people to put the thing back on the boat. That is the aim. So,
right.
Fishy, 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 save the machine that helps us breathe. Fishy, 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 etc.
All right. As you do so, the water level begins to rise in your suit. You are quickly consuming the air, and it is becoming more difficult to breathe. Make a music check, if you would be so kind, Hortensia, with a negative flip.
No!
As I am going to eat up another imp.
Not my imp!
Can she cancel your imp with her own imp?
He can.
I shall do that.
Very well.
Encapsulation mechanisms.
All right. So you only need to flip one then. Oh, never mind.
Oh, sorry.
that's-
Jack. I flipped the jack first.
You did. You did. Very well. All right. Very well. As you sing, you watch as these fish, their eyes go wide. They swim over to the machine and they begin to try and grab it and start swimming upwards to the back to the ship. As they do so, you can all see that they're doing this, very slowly, very kind of hypnotically. The other sailors are kind of like trying to swim frantically, trying to get onto life buoys and stuff. Professor Scarpati.
Yes. It's my turn. Okay.
Mhm.
So since you have decided to bring guest appearances in, I would like to try and make Jaxie attack the Spring Hill Jack. So I would like to. So he has shark instincts, I would assume, and they might overrule whatever common sense he might have. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut a lot of little wounds. I'm not trying to damage Spring Heel Jack. I'm just trying to cut a lot of wounds, so that the smell of blood would attract Jaxie to attack the Spring Heel Jack. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right. I'm going to make this a husbandry check. You're going to be doing the cuts. You're not going to be doing much damage. You are going to take damage from burns from the acidic blood as you are cutting it. But you may make a husbandry check at disadvantage.
Oh, well, but I do also have a positive imp that I will use to cancel your disadvantage.
It's an imp buffet here right now.
All right,
Well,
so that's a 4.
Yeah. And I can cheat it, right?
Yeah, you can cheat it because it's not a negative flip.
What is husbandry if I don't have it?
Cunning, I believe.
Well, in that case, it's a 7.
All right. With a 7, you begin to cut and slice into it. And as you do, indeed, the shark's attention is drawn. It looks towards Spring-Heeled Jack. It won't be able to act on this turn, but you have successfully managed to do so. I need you to now flip the last card here. Everyone can then draw a card from their deck. All right. As you take 3 points of acid damage, as your arms begin to burn, the suit is now ruptured as well, allowing water to flood in as well. It is not ideal. All right. Sorry, let me just put that back there. There we go. All right. As we get to the end of the round, Ludovica, you are in front of the housing unit. You have the gem in your hand. It's still hot, but again, it's been a while since you've been able to feel really. You slide in the gemstone. It locks into place. And as it does so, you watch as the actual clock of King's Cross lights up and illuminates the area. The lights are almost blinding for a moment, as if they're overly charged. You see the conduits beginning to redirect power. The tunnel system begins to light and illuminate, entirely fueled on it. But then, shortly after, a surge of power, blasts and explosions, pops, seem to be going all the way around as the lights begin to overcharge. The energy in this, in the Soul Stone is not being directed, or at least there's so much of it that the actual systems can't handle it. You are there, standing in front of it. What would you like to do?
I tap Goliath on its ugly little head, and then I'm grab the shiny stone thingy, and then climb up onto its other hand and let it lift myself up so I can see the statue.
All right. You watch as the as Goliath grabs hold of the statue, the gemstone. As soon as he does so, you watch as the blackened charring of the flesh starts to carry up the arm with veins of blue of orange energy that crackle and travel. It seems to be basically just burning and destroying as he's touching it. You see that it seems to have hit his soul stone as well, and it's now pumping even faster. The temperature of the water, even for you guys away from this scene, starts to go up as it sort of raises Ludovica even higher over and out, pretty much where the clock face is, just kind of out and over so that you guys can see Ludovica just kind of high above you.
She's probably all the makeup has been washed away. She's very obviously dead. Her hair is just dripping around her face. She has ripped off the skirts of her dress, and she's standing her in her black widow's bloomers. And the only thing she can think of is try channel magic. So she's trying to, because I at one point I chose necromancer for a little bit because I'm running out of levels to take as soul eater.
All right.
And tries to channel her necromancy and raising the many corpses in the water to come up and touch the statue as an anchor.
Can you flip me a necromancy check, please?
Yes, I can. 13.
Nice.
Plus 3, 16.
As you do so, a horde of these monstrous kind of corpses, even some of the half-eaten ones, the arm that Sebastian's holding onto starts sort of trying to swim away, as these corpses grab onto the statue and create almost like a chain link, like ants crawling over each other towards Ludovica and Goliath. As the energy is now traveled down Goliath's body, you watch as the lights sort of dim and disappear from Goliath's skull, and he's still holding you. His arm sort of loses the weight and begins to list. Ludovica, you can see that the blackness is gathering around your feet.
That's all right. We just need to make the connection. Can I kind of lean forward and
you reach forward
the nearest corpse?
You reach forward and grab hold of one of the corpses, who grabs hold of you, and the touch is not an aggressive one. It's almost gentle. And all of a sudden, your body is filled with energy. As it surges, your legs, your arms, your body starts to blacken like charcoal, and it then flows almost straight down instantaneously through the multitude of corpses till it surrounds the statue like a cocoon. There is silence, as nothing seems to have happened. A few moments later, Ludovica, your eyes shoot open, and orange energy mixing with green light begins to flow outwards and surge down this chain of corpses. As it does so, it enraptures, and you watch as this cocoon begins to glow with this bright and brilliant energy. The crystal smashes and explodes. Goliath's hand turns to dust as the statue explodes outwards. Everyone is suddenly surrounded by this huge wave of hot water that boils and bubbles in a circle around them. As it sort of reaches up to Ludovica, you watch as Goliath fades and disappears, as do the corpses. The last to fade away is Ludovica. Her body turns to ash and then drifts. But there's this ethereal green light, an energy that seems to flow with the waters. Ludovica, you can pick one of your fellow players to go to in this final moment.
Hortensia. She's got enough space for 2 souls.
Hortensia, the light goes towards you. It flows and kind of almost caresses you. And with that, we shall bid farewell to Ludovica, and of course, a very fond farewell, for the time being at least, to Mhaire for season 1 of Avalon Society. Farewell, Mhaire.
Ashes fading.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. All right. I'm like sad now. Okay, let me kill you guys. Okay, so without any further ado, oh, Eddie, can we jumble things back?
There's a
Oh, do we
multitude
not
of us.
Oh, sorry, we need 2 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, so in the meantime, actually, I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to everyone in our audience who have supported the show and the season thus far. You guys are absolutely amazing. A very special shout out to BJ Varo and Ryle Grimes for today's donations. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you so much, guys. Look, you guys are awesome and incredible. It is honestly just so much of a pleasure to be able to play with you guys. We are, of course, not quite done. We do still have another 10 minutes, and we will be hopefully getting through that as soon as we are back. But of course, guys, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask in regards to the players, to myself, about the game, leave it in chat now, between now and of course the end of the stream. If we've got a little bit of time at the end, we'll pick a couple of them, or Eddie will pick a couple of them, and we'll answer them for you guys at the very end. So yeah, hopefully Eddie is very frantically running around the tech station like a bull in a china shop, and we'll hopefully have that for you soon. Also, how did you guys? Well, actually, you know what? Let's take a moment with Ludovica's passing, with the selfless sacrifice of your undead companion. What is each of your what's going through each of your characters' minds? Edward, we'll start with you.
Edward's just trying to survive, and there's a lot of magic that flows around Ludovica. So I think he's unhappy. He's mildly upset at the moment. He's glad that the statue's been destroyed. He did hope that it would vaporize everything around him, because I don't think he's ever fully understood this whole magic idea. So I think he was sort of hoping that the water would vanish and everything would be restored to normal. So I think there's a little bit of hope, and that's sort of being washed away, really, that there's still water and monsters and things around him. So I think that's where he is.
Okay. Professor Scarpati, how do you feel at the moment?
Well, I was hoping, I was believing, I was kind of sure that the whole group makes it out of this encounter. So he's devastated that we lost Ludovica. It's probably a reminder that he should be a lot more careful that we're not losing more people down here with 2 of those terrible giant monsters.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Billum?
Ludovica was his favorite corpse. He's definitely upset about the fact that he's lost one of the 4 people he calls friends, considering that his best friend betrayed him in his eyes.
It's true. And Hortensia?
Opera's supposed to have a happy ending. Well, 18th century opera. I see that face. In the 18th century opera always has a happy ending. Screw 19th century opera. But Ludovica was Hortensia's best friend. She was the only one who could tolerate her shit. So yeah, I'm devastated. I'm crying in my suit. It's wet in here. I miss her already.
Just the seawater. It's just the seawater.
Yes.
All right.
The show must go on.
All right. And speaking of, with the statue destroyed, the light in the air begins to dim. The burning man is still there. Still burning, but maybe a little less bright. You watch as several of the portals begin to slowly start to relinquish their waters, and you can see the tide, the actual surface starting to lower very gradually and very slowly. At this point, you can see that the ship, you can hear the sounds of the horns being blared as they drag on your machine and the some of the sailors back onto the boat. You can see that they have dropped the anchor, but not the entire way. As the ship begins to move, it seems as though they're about to leave you due to the waters currently dripping downwards. However, you still have the shark and spring-heeled Jack to contend with. The shark, of course, having been subvertedly directed towards an attack against spring-heeled Jack, you may have a moment to be able to find a way out. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Sebastian, it is your turn. Or Edward, it's your turn.
Make for the anchor! Make for the anchor, that's where we must go. Everybody, I'm trying to grab onto the prima donna and swim as fast as possible towards the anchor.
All right. Because Spring-Heel Jack is blind, he does not actually threaten you in any particular way, so you are actually able to get away from him without him attacking you. If only he had an extra eye, but he doesn't. As you grab hold of the prima donna, you begin to hastily make your way around. Hortensia, are you resisting in any kind of way?
No, but I would like to use the most simple of illusions and create the sound of Edward's voice on the other side of Spring-Heel Jack as well, so he doesn't follow the voice.
Well,
I'm going to use an audio illusion.
Unfortunately, you'll be able to create that after Spring-Heel Jack will get his action, but what you could possibly do is create multiple voices from where you are to kind of create almost like a mirror image, kind of like in his hearing. So like he's hearing him from like 4 different spaces in the same area. So that's kind of cool. I like that. All right. Athletics check, please, if you would be so kind, Mr. Edward, as you are swimming.
8.
With an 8, you grab hold of the prima donna and begin to make your way. As you move, it is getting harder and harder as your suit is slowly being laden with water. As you make your way closer and closer, however, the shark seems to have lost interest in Hortensia entirely, meaning that you have made a reasonable amount of distance from them. Billum, it is your turn.
I suppose the only option really here. So the water level, are we talking shoulder level or are we talking above head?
It's plenty above. It's like several stories up. It's just coming down.
All right.
Yeah.
So the shark is still a threat.
Oh yeah. In fact, you know what, Billum? as you and Scarpati are the only ones kind of here at the moment, could I get both of you to make me a notice check, please?
Certainly.
14.
Very nice.
You know what? I've got marked cards here. I'm just going to have a look at the first 3 and take my pick.
Go on.
Oh, I think I know what I'm taking. Yeah, so we'll take that first one. And we'll put the other 2 back on top. Keep in mind what was there.
Very well. The 2 of you notice that in the ashes of the undead that have been made around King Cross Station, you can see Goliath's huge form still smoldering and burning. As mentioned, the light of Goliath went out during this surge of power from the Soul Stone. You see the Soul Stone still wedged in at the top of the clock, but it is now empty, hollow and burnt out. However, you can see in the center of Goliath a pulsating blue, a soul stone still glowing. Now, it clearly burnt out Goliath's soul stone. So Goliath's soul is not in there.
John, should I get it?
Yeah. Whose soul is in there? Well, we need to find out. Go get it.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll swim as fast as I can towards the side, ignoring the shark.
Billum, once you have it, make for the boat.
Roger.
I will cover your retreat.
Athletics check as you swim past the shark and try to make it for the soulstone. Oh man, like a boss, you duck, and the shark again doesn't bite you, but it starts to chase you as you are now you're kind of like this sharp moving bit of prey that's gone between it to get to the soulstone. You reach down and you pick up the gem. As you pick it up, you feel, you don't know, but you feel that it's Ludovica's soul inside this gem.
I got you, sweetheart.
You tuck it into your shirt and continue to try and flee. As we then go to the creatures. Now, Spring-Heeled Jack is still rampaging, trying to figure out where exactly you are. It's going to try and take a swipe in the direction of Sebastian. Edward, I need you to make me a defensive flip with 3 positive flips. So flip 3 times, take the highest. All right, Sebastian. You know, he now that he's got the prima donna in his hands, there's this image that sort of flows through his head of those old moving pictures with this dashing hero with a beautiful woman in one hand, swimming with the other. Even though he's not the most athletic of individuals, he is dodging these attacks from this infernal creature, moving towards it as he's just pulling her forward and through the water. You are unabatedly looking quite dashing and quite heroic as you are avoiding this onslaught from this creature. The shark chases after Billum. Scarpati, you have a moment where you may distract the creature, but keeping in mind the creature is quite feral, quite vicious.
I would like to take reach behind me and take the cord that, like the breathing cord that I have, and like whip it to spin it around one of the legs or the tail of the shark, and just pull to distract it, to keep it from chasing Billum.
Right. You absolutely do so, and you wrap around its leg. As you do so, it looks down and immediately gives up the chase for Billum and veers straight towards Scarpati. Now, we're going to accelerate a little bit as as Edward, you and Hortensia make it to the anchor and start to climb upwards. You pull yourself, gasping for air as the ship is still moving, but plenty of sailors are like, they're here, they made it, quick. You see that several of them have climbed down a rope ladder and start to help both of you up. The suits are very heavy above water as well, so they're literally, it's 2 man per person dragging you up. Billum, you shortly follow afterwards as well. As you climb and clamber onto the deck, you cradling this small gemstone as well. As you do so, you are also pulled up onto the deck. A few moments pass.
Where's the professor?
Where is he? Can anyone see him?
He's down there with the shark.
Grab the hose, everyone. We're pulling him up.
They seem to grab onto the hose, and as they try to pull up, you notice that the hose is slack. You pull faster. The end has been slown off, torn, almost ripped.
I'm going back in.
You see several of the sailors immediately grab him. No, you can't. You can't. It's too dangerous.
I mean,
We have to go. We have to go. The water levels are falling. We'll be stuck here too.
Can I use my fish song one more time?
You may try so. Make a music check.
I'm going to try to save Scarpati with the power of fish. Power of fish and music.
You're gonna save him from swimming with the fishes by singing with the fishes.
Yes. Wait, why am I turning 2 over? Sorry.
I don't know. That's okay. This can go back.
Sorry. I would like to cheat anyway.
You may cheat.
Thank you. How much must I cheat?
Let's see. You need to cheat to an 11.
2 and 11 or with an 11?
2 and 11.
4. Oh, in that case, I'm fine. I don't need to cheat. And
Oh,
turns out I'm not bad at this music stuff.
I know. All right.
Review!
Would have thought.
A few moments later, you watch as these creatures swim down, and for a few minutes they're swimming around. You watch as the boat veers away from King's Cross Station. They return, following the aft, but they have nothing in their arms.
Save my
Sing harder, damn it!
friend. He is old and weak. Save my friend.
Beautiful as this is, the fish creatures have not returned with the professor.
The
But they
fish
have
have
returned.
failed me.
Well, they searched. They gave it a good go. It is here that you find yourselves pulling away from the square and going down the Thames. You make your way towards the ocean. A sunrise greets you upon the horizon as you can see the ship pulling away from the chaos behind you. The sky is quiet. The city slowly begins to drain into the ocean. The sounds of silence have never been more unnerving. It is here that you then see guild ships, vessels, recoveries, and people of medical natures preparing to receive you out in the ocean. There's a huge response. People have moved in, and most of these, originally you think are guildmen, but you notice that they don't fly the flag of the guild. They fly the flag of the King's Empire, a crown besitched among the flag of the Union Jack. Several small ships make their way out to you, and you are quickly recovered, given warm blankets and food. And this is where we end the session. In the times just after our adventure, Edward, you continue onwards to recount your stories, and in fact, the ring that you got from Lord Mulberry actually did afford you quite a notoriety, enough to, of course, build your own firm. As an individual who survived such terrible catastrophe, you were given full litigation over all lawsuits made in regards to the events that occurred in London, landing you a number of lucrative deals. Scarpati, we'll come back to you in a moment. Billum, as the sole proprietor of Scarpati's estates, you have been granted and given a number of his overseas assets and given full induction into the Avalon Society as a full-blooded member. Your previous mentor had already put in all the paperwork for you to be done. So unlike the others who are now interim members of the Avalon Society, you are a venture captain, someone capable of planning and being funded for expeditions on behalf of the society. Hortensia, you find yourself across the ridge on another boat, one that had, of course, rescued you, returning to London after 6 months of living and surviving with a friend of yours who managed to put you up in some rather satisfactory accommodation. A woman by the name of Robin Starfish.
Good old Robin.
Well, my dear, I feel like as though we're almost there. Is everything all right? Are you sure you're okay to go back?
I must be brave, with dear John gone and my beloved Ludovica. Who else will tell the story of this insane night? And of course, I must go back to my beloved Edward.
Oh yes, how are things with you and Edward?
We left it somewhat unresolved, but I have an inkling, you might say. I have a sense that perhaps we might have our happy ending after all.
She sort of smiles and she says, well, I'll definitely drink to that. And she sort of raises up her tea glass.
Darling. Chin chin.
Billum, you are in a small office meeting with Edward, who has called you in due to a message that has been delivered to the estate of John Scarpati. It has come from America. Edward, you've received this with no real understanding of what the letter could be about, but it was addressed directly to the estate and not to Billum or to obviously the late and great John Scarpati. Billum, you enter Edward's office.
Eddie, what do you got for me?
But I'm not entirely sure, actually. But I wanted your approval on this. It's a statue that we're going to build to Professor Scarpati in King's Cross, as a matter of fact. Then I wanted to talk to you about the expedition to go and get back Ludovica's soul. As a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain that she's not dead. Well, she wasn't when she started, so I don't see why she is now.
Well, I got connections with a couple of blockers back at the bayou. Should be able to help us out. They know a fair bit about the old souls. Well, I think the statue's a great idea. Dad would like that.
You turn your attention to the note that you have, Edward. It seems to be old, tattered, and a little bit worn.
Yes, well, there's this note here.
Billum, as you open it, you begin to read. Professor Scarpati. The events 6 months ago of Malifaux saw you enraged in a battle with a giant shark. But then, as soon as the statue was removed, much of the waters disappeared, vanishing almost, along with Professor Scarpati, who found himself in an unfamiliar yet familiar realm. In the desert's blistering sun under a green sky, in a jacket, hard and laden, you find yourself in the swampy bayous of Malifaux. 6 months later, you've decided that perhaps it's time to send a message to your ward and friends. You've written a letter. Would you be so kind as to read out said letter?
Sure. It starts with, Dear son, I hope you have learned to read by now. Otherwise, please hand this to Edward and he will read it for you. I somehow made it and I survived. I'm glad. I hope you all found your way out of the situation and were able to re-establish a normal life. I found this was the perfect way for me to get the exit that I was looking for. If people are assuming that I am dead, then no one is going to bug me anymore about old societies who try to re-recruit me in my old ages and old enemies trying to find me. So I apologize for being so late on this message, but I have settled in quite well. And I must say the stories you have told me about the Bayou, Malifaux, are really true. The food is hard to get used to, but the alcohol is really good. So if you ever find your way into Malifaux, come and pay me a visit. I have attached a little secret where you find my whereabouts. And then there is a weird riddle drawn that is hopefully You can
Billum,
solve
you're
it.
the only one who reads this so far. What do you do with the letter?
Hold it up, put it in my jacket pocket.
Anything of import?
Edward, pack up your things. Hortensia. We're going to Malifaux.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to leave season 1, or at least this season, of Through the Breach Avalon Society London Falls. Thank you so much to everyone for participating and coming with us on this incredible journey. Now, for those of you who are a little bit into the Malifaux stuff and want to know a bit more, what we were actually playing through was an event at the start of one of the sister games to Through the Breach called The Other Side, which of course was about the fall of London during the rise of the Burning Man, one of the big events. So yeah, these guys were part of that and got to go through it. Honestly, I am absolutely blown away with these guys. They are absolutely amazing. But you know, I could stay here and I could gush, and I know it's the end of the season, and I'm always prone to talking too much, so I'm not going to today. Guys, tell us, leave us with your final thoughts on the game, the whole game, not just today, but just the game in general, your character, and tell us, of course, where we can find you. You know, I'll actually start with she who is not here, Mhaire from Hortensia TV. Definitely go and check that out. Whole bunch of really cool German based RPGs and interviews and reviews and gameplays, even video game stuff as well. It's seriously something you should definitely check out. Ludovica was, of course, one of the most interesting characters that I had the pleasure to play with, mostly because, you know, on one point it would be like this kind of almost like this cold, cynical character. Then suddenly it would be, I'm going to set the Doomsayer on fire and and watch him burn. But she always had deep beneath this dark spirit, a good heart that was always looking out for Hortensia and the others. And I think we got to see so much of that today. And especially in the final sacrificial moments as well. The things she would connect with and the way that she played always make Mhaire, for me, one of the best role players I have the pleasure to play with. So thank you, Mhaire, if you're watching. And yeah, definitely go check out Hortensia. Let's go with Billum. Anthony.
Yes. The game has been an absolute whirlwind. I like Through the Breach. I think the game itself plays really differently to everything else and throws sort of the expectation of like dice rolling mechanics out of the window, which is really fresh. It leaves a lot of room for role play, which is nice. My thoughts on the story have just been like, there has been so many things that you expect to happen that twist so differently and it's mostly boss monsters. I'm not gonna lie, boss monsters, you bastards.
You beautiful, beautiful, generous bastards.
Beautiful, generous bastards. So much fun to actually play it, to have that combat and feel that narration, and it is kind of like it's deadly, but it's not too deadly. I like that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the game. I loved playing with these guys. I think you guys are all amazing role players. Michael, you've run a fantastic story. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here. Of course, I'm Anthony. I'm from Roll for Damage. You can find me at Roll for Damage on Twitch. That's Roll, ROLE, for Damage. We play a lot of D&D and other games. Michael's currently playing through a horror-themed Starfinder game on Wednesday nights. We've got D&D, which is Warhammer themed. We've got more games to come. We've got a Humblewood game. And I'm going to be starting up an Eberron-based game pretty soon on another channel. So if you want to find out what I'm doing, come and check out Roll for Damage. You'll find me there.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Till?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I just realized, because I was looking at the stream window, I just realized when I do this, it looks like I'm dousing Billum into smoke. Sorry. Second, let me get rid of this dreadful.
It's not his real hair.
No.
Oh my
it's
God,
not.
we can't be friends anymore.
And you know what? While we're doing confessions, I don't wear glasses.
By the way, I do. It was an incredibly great game. It was so much fun, and to be honest, it was a shame that that we had to encompass it into 2-hour bits and pieces for the stream, because there was so much going on and there's so much to explore that I feel like this would be, if I would be playing this in my office games, we would be sitting here 8 hours straight and playing that. Because there are so many things, like what cut off my hair in that academy back there? What was behind the door that we never opened? Playing with all of you, like I'm fairly new to being a live stream guest player. So it is intimidating to play with people who are so experienced. But it was great fun. All of you were absolutely fantastic. And you just about me, I'm Till from Dungeon Fog. You can find me at dungeonfog.com, where you can make epic battle maps and draw them yourself. Thank you all.
Draw on yourself?
Hmm?
Did you say and draw on yourself?
And draw
on you. Yeah, you can draw them on yourself, or you could use our editor and draw them in.
Map
draw them
tattoo.
yourself.
All
Yes.
my maps on my stomach.
Janet?
Belly maps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say. This was such an incredible adventure. I've never played Through the Breach before. I've never played in a early 20th century campaign before. I did not know what to expect. I came up with this wacky character. When I read the core book, I was like, well, I need to do something that I connect with. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'll just play an opera singer, because at least I used to be an opera singer, so I have a lot of material to work with. And I just never expected any of this, like the incredible characterization from all of you guys. The twists, the turns, the story, the plot, the fact that you managed to keep it so dramatic, even though there were very funny moments, even like very wacky moments. I was just living for this thing, and like to be on screen with all of you guys is just such a freaking pleasure. So yeah, I don't have enough love. I can't express enough love. Possibly this cat can express enough love, but I cannot express enough love to convey how wonderful this has been for me. And guys, I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. But it's been a freaking blast. With regards to Hortensia, she as I said before, like she was made to be this character that didn't have an arc in mind. More, she was sort of a very much a fish out of water character, and I just wanted to see what that would look like. But I feel like we really made connections along the way with Ludovica, with Montague. I did not see that love coming. That was hilarious. That was such a nice moment. So yeah, just lots of happy things and kind of stories that I love, which are the ones that give you some smiles and give you some drama. I am Janet from World Anvil. Although I used to be an opera singer, I now run the foremost world building and campaign management platform, where you can also write novels now if you would like to, and publish them and do all sorts of good things. It is also one of the nicest places on the internet. The community is fantastic. So if you like creative things, you like world building, you like TTRPGs, come join us. You will be welcomed with open arms, as I have felt in this stream as well.
Yay. Guy?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the layers that were going on in the game, where we had all of the crazy events that you were triggering. We had the problem solving of what on earth are we supposed to do and how are we supposed to do it, and then the interrelationships between the characters I thought was fantastic. Everyone had like their space, and everyone had something that we could fall back on. And yet no one, I think, ever then just dominated and worked on their own. So even when it was a case of, oh, well, you're the one who knows how to do this, everybody else could still lump in and get stuff going. So I think that was a lot of, I just think it was a very good combination of things that came together. And I disagree with you, Till, in terms of the game length and time. It would be lovely to play a longer game. But I also kind of think that the 2 hours and only 12 episodes, it really it kind of ratcheted up the drama. It's like, we don't have a lot of time to solve this. We really are going to die.
Because Guy knows this better. Guy knows this better than anyone. I will kill people to stay on schedule. Like,
well, yeah. So I think that was a lot of fun, and I must admit the moment that I personally derived a lot of satisfaction was realizing that I can beat Michael at poker now, because your poker face is awful, absolutely awful. When I put that King's Cross suggestion in, there was just no ways to stop you from grinning from ear to ear. And that King's Cross thing was literally a desperation. It was like, what the hell are we going to do? We don't know how to fix this thing. And I'm looking at my notes, and I've got one little entry which said King's Cross uninstalled but waiting, from that archive thing that we found. And I thought that was lovely to allow us to do that and go in that direction. So and then everyone went and did it and made it happen, and no one sort of stepped back or anything like that. So I really enjoyed that. I really did. Yeah. And I'm from How to Be a Great GM, and you can find all my links in the chat box on the side of the screen. So I'm not going to go through them all. And yes, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Michael. And thank you to everybody else. And when you said, Sebastian and I, we're not entirely sure what's happened, we left it on an uncertain note, I was going, oh, that's so sad for Sebastian and for Hortensia, because I really do think they both belong to each other. I mean, anyone who is willing to shoot you to make you more famous, I think that's a couple that deserves to exist. I think it really is.
That definitely is a story to tell the kids. So, do you know, this one time I arranged for an undead woman
to shoot you.
To shoot your mother. Just graze her a little. No. Actually, you know, you guys are resonating literally everything. I feel like, honestly, this game was an absolute blast. Of course, I kind of resonate with both Till and Guy on that, like the whole 2-hour thing. I love games. Don't get me wrong. The thing is that for me, I need a collar, because if I didn't, I mean, as some of you know, I did an 86-hour game before. So, you know, the length of time is always something that's like, oh, we can go longer. We can always go longer. The problem is obviously that's not sensible, and you know, we do have lives to attend to. So yes, but I think for what we did with this space, it was fantastic. So without any further ado, guys, my name is Michael. I've been the Dead Aussie Gamer. Behind me, of course, is the ever wonderful Eddie Tor, who is from Tabletop Explorers, so go check him out and stuff as well. Of course, we give a very, very special thank you to the Mercs of Mischief for hosting our wonderful show for the season. Go check out all of their other stuff, such as Too Many Warlocks and the Avalon Knights Academy, which they feature here and on YouTube. So go and check that out. And we will be releasing season 1 of the Through the Breach game on their YouTube channel, which will hopefully be up and about next week, I believe. So do stay tuned, and if you feel like it, go for a marathon. Tell us what you think. I'd love to hear from all of you guys in the chat. Again, another special shout out to all of our donators, not just from today, but from pretty much since the start. Special thank you to BJ Varo. Dude, seriously, like, so incredible, so much support. Riles, thanks again, dude. Again, I was fortunate enough to get to play with Riles at a table. So again, thank you so much for coming and supporting us. Ursus Expectoris, again, awesome to see you again, and thank you for enjoying the show. And the ever wonderful and indomitable Laura Bones. Thank you so much, guys. From us to you, till next time, until the next time we get to grace each other over the bow of another table and yet another game. From us to you, game hard or die trying. Bye, guys.